Please don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.
Chapter 25, Hard Saturday Morning.
On Saturday morning, Brandon lay in bed, trying to continue sleeping despite the persistent buzzing noise coming from his desk. The sound was the vibration of his cell phone. He hoped it would stop, but after a brief pause of about 30 seconds, it buzzed again. Frustrated, he got up, walked over to the phone, and saw that it was Keiki calling. Annoyed, he answered in a grumpy tone. Keiki asked if he had been asleep and mentioned that she wanted to check on him after the funeral. For a moment, Brandon wondered if she was getting back at him for waking her up a few days ago to check on her. But then she told him she was outside in her car and wanted to talk. He glanced at the time. It was 8:43 a.m. He offered to let her come inside, but she preferred that he come outside instead. After quickly putting on sweatpants and a t-shirt, Brandon dragged himself across the driveway to where Keiki was parked. As he approached, she got out of the car. Brandon leaned against it, and Keiki apologized for avoiding him before. She then revealed that she had known about Mr. George's impending arrest after the funeral service, having overheard her father talking about the case on the phone. Keiki informed Brandon that George and his sister Kate had confessed after being arrested when investigators showed their evidence, mainly finding text messages on George's phone inviting his son, Junior, to come over to get some money the night of the shooting. Brandon was stunned to learn that both Mr. George and Kate were involved in such a horrendous act. Overwhelmed, he took a few steps away, holding his head in disbelief. When he returned, Keiki revealed the devastating truth. George and Kate had orchestrated Junior's death for insurance money. Kate had taken out an insurance policy on Junior since he lived with her. It was believed that George had been struggling with his wife's medical bills, and Kate's farm was on the verge of foreclosure. They had meticulously planned the scheme to make it look like a tragic accident. Brandon was silent, processing the horrifying information. After about 10 minutes, he hugged Keiki and then walked back to the house, muttering, "You just don't know what people are capable of." Harold and Gloria were in the kitchen, enjoying their breakfast, when their son walked back into the house. Harold tried to tease him about his female friends checking up on him early in the morning, but it was clear from his son's expression that he wasn't in the mood for jokes. He sat down at the kitchen island and began sharing the information he had received from Keiki. Gloria's mouth dropped open in shock, while Harold just stared at his son, taking it all in. They asked a few questions about what they had heard, then fell silent as they processed the information. Slowly, they began to accept that what their son was telling them was true. Afterward, Brandon served himself some breakfast, and his parents went about their morning, Gloria tending to her flower bed, and Harold said he needed to run some errands, so he got in the car and drove off. Sitting in the parking lot, Harold searched through his wallet for his big box card. Once he found it, he headed toward the store. Zuri, who noticed him approaching, quickly asked her supervisor if she could take a break. Her father had never gone shopping without her mother, which made her quite concerned. She met him at the entrance, and together they walked over to the food court. Zuri worried if something was wrong, but her father quickly reassured her. He explained that he simply wanted to tell her how proud he was of her. Harold expressed how impressed he was by how she faced challenges with grace and determination, and seeing her handle everything made him incredibly proud. Zuri felt the urge to cry, but held back since she was at work. Harold then asked her to visit them the next day, and she agreed. After giving Zuri a big hug, Harold let her get back to work and headed home. He needed to inform his wife that they would be hosting a family dinner after church. As Harold drove, he reflected on his relationship with George. He was done with him. George's son had needed guidance, but status and money seemed to matter more to George. How selfish, Harold thought. Although he would never go as far as George, Harold recognized some self-centered tendencies in himself that he knew he needed to address. By midday, the Butlers were in the dining room writing on paper. They had promised their grandson that they would come up with a rap, and they intended to follow through on it. Brandon had come in and added his 2 cents, and played some of the upbeat music while they practice. Harold planned for the family to get together after church on Sunday, at which time they would display their rapping skills to their grandson.
How do you feel about Harold's decision to cut ties with George after learning about the shocking betrayal? Would you have done the same in his position?
As always, I would love to hear your comments below. Please don't forget to like and share the video. Be sure to hit the notification button to be notified of the next video. Thank you.